Aloha 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 Can I ask Alan to come up, please? This particular oli speaks to the pandanus leaf, and it speaks to the lehua blossom, okay, where people are hidden, okay, behind all of this leaf and the lehua blossom. And when you have arrived, we have been waiting for you to arrive. And now that you have come here, we wish you with love and aloha. O na na itahala me ta lehua, e hale lehua no ia nakanoe, o ka uno ia no ine, e li ane ho i ka hiki mai, a hiki mai o ko, a hiki mai no puna. Aloha 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 I'd like to call upon the leaders and those that organized this event or sponsored the event. Would you please come up? No run up one time, you guys. Okay, you know what I mean? Hey, only hila, you know. Oh, wait. Anybody else? Come on. Who else was responsible for part of this? We know we get plenty hands out there that went help this. Okay?
Right behind you.
All of them? Kenny, where you stay? Kenny. So before this event rolls out, okay, it goes like this. Bless the leaders, bless all of those, okay, that have participated in making this happen. And then we bless all of you for safe journeys. The land has already been salted for all of you. From that entrance of the parking lot to those trees, come all the way back around the back of this tent. Yeah. So this is sacred grounds, yeah. Kaka'ako has a very rich history of Hawaiian history in this area. So all of you are going to be part of history this morning. So this morning I will be blessing our leaders, small kai prayer, then we're going to have people come up and share a story about Brother Johnny, okay? The good, the bad, the ugly, and the otherwise, okay? You guys know the rules are over here. And it's all good. And then I'll come back and close with prayers before you guys take off, okay? Good morning, everyone. You guys got your fix, you got your coffee, you got your buzz, toke it up, we all good? Right on, that's what I'm talking about. So we all know why everybody here, right? Everybody in the right place, okay? When this is not Walmart, okay? It's not Target. It's not Costco, okay? So this morning, yeah, why we here? We came to celebrate Brother Johnny's life, okay? We all get the once upon a time story, okay? But we can never recover that time he was with him. But he left us memories for a lifetime. That we're going to talk story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? All of that, you know, it's going to come. So at this time, yeah, I would like to call upon those that want to share stories, okay? Any kind of shame, you know, you guys. I mean, it's not like, you know, somebody watching you and you're going to get graded, okay? Not even. Come up, share stories about Johnny. When you was at the shop with him, when you needed one part and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning because you guys was writing at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know. Okay, we can all relate to that, you know. Or when, you know, you was looking for somebody to talk story with and he was there at the shop, you know. I had the privilege and the honor to be asked to bless him after his accident down at the Old Quarry Road. And that whole area, yeah, that he was out in that area. A lot of our Uhani spirits were watching over him at that time. And we were so blessed to have him share his makana that he had given to EMS. So when I got the call that he already passed, I said, oh, where? I said, brother, you're supposed to go home Big Island, you know, and we're all supposed to go up there ride with you on the Big Island. But God had other plans for him, okay? And right now, he's planning for some of you guys to come up here and talk story about Brother Johnny, okay? That's the rules, okay? Mahalo.
Aloha, everybody. My name is Stephen Loritero. I'm the director of the Honolulu chapter of the Harley Owners Group, or HOG. Johnny was a life HOG member, and he was proud of being a HOG member. He loved Harleys. He loved Harleys so much that he found a way to turn it into a business. He went to motorcycle school, mechanic school in Florida, got his certification, rode across country, came back home to Hawaii, and he opened up a shop. And he went through the motions of making sure that all of us can ride safe and in taking care of all of our bikes. When I first met Johnny, I was intimidated by him. But once you got to know him, he is the nicest guy you will ever meet, and he will literally give the shirt off his back for you. I know it's a cliche, but he also loved helping people. He showed me how to fix some things on my bike, and he taught. And he was such a good teacher that when my wife asked him to go to Waipahu Middle School on career day, he would go and he would show these young kids what it's like to put a motorcycle together. And the kids would just light up. And that's just Johnny. At Christmas time, when he was Santa Claus, he was Santa Claus. There was no doubt about it. When the kids saw him, they knew it. When I saw him, I knew it. I am still in shock to this day of what happened. We were with him Saturday, loading up his container for his new adventure on the Big Island. And then I get a call later that night that he suffered a heart attack. I can't believe it. So, you know, love everybody that you're with, because you don't know when that time is going to come. But I am blessed that I had the time with Johnny that I've got, and with all of you. So this is for you, Johnny, and I know you're looking out for all of us and taking care of all of us. Thank you. My wife Mary would like to say something about Johnny.
Try to get through this without crying. I approached Johnny a few years ago. I work at Waipahu Middle School. Special needs, you know, special education. But we have a couple classrooms that have special needs kids. Very disabled children, mentally, physically, mentally handicapped. And Waipahu is not very yeah, the economics there, you know, it's more to be desired. But anyway, I asked Johnny, I said, hey, could you please come to my school and be Santa Claus for these special needs kids? He said yes. That first day he wrote in, all my kids were just so excited to see Santa Claus. And he even handed them out gifts that the teachers provided for their students. And to them, that was the greatest thing ever. They got to see a real life Santa Claus, and they got to talk to him. And to this day, he's still known as Santa Johnny at the school. Now, when my husband talked about the career day, at my school, we've always gotten the Air Force, the Marines, no offense. We've always gotten the big wigs, you know, I wanted something, I want the kids to see somebody, not just a uniform. So I asked Johnny, I said, can you come and do career fair? Oh yeah. He brought a I don't know what it is, a carburetor thing. But when they had to sign up to see the career fair guy, his classes were always booked. And he let them tinker with the tools and the toys, and he was well known. And our kids, they would write thank you letters to the participants of the career fair. Johnny framed every one of his, and he hung them around his shop. That's how much those kids meant to him. That's how much he influenced them. And they always ask, you know, how's Johnny? How's Santa Johnny? How's Johnny? When Johnny got into his accident, and I told one of the teachers, all the kids wrote him, you know, get well soon cards. I think he had over 25. And we only had 6 in the classroom. So Johnny is just, Johnny's Johnny. He's always been a big brother to me. Nora will always be his wife. No matter, you don't need a piece of paper. I don't care. And that's all. I gotta go.
I'll go. My name is Vicki. I met Johnny probably 10 years ago, and the way I met him was I lived out there next to his shop, and I would drive past his shop all the time, and I saw it and was interested, and I showed up on his doorstep with 5 boxes full of bike parts and said, make me a bike. And he did, and it was a beautiful bike. Actually, it was my husband's bike. It was a chopper that had a rake. So stupid. I think it was 9 or 10 feet long, this bike. But Johnny put it together, and ever since then we were really, really good friends. He is the most generous, most loving guy. Again, I was intimidated when I met him. I walked in all girly, and it was him and a bunch of guys in his shop, and the nicest guy in the world, again, would give you his shirt off of his back. He was very generous with his time and his possessions. He would always fix our bike. As you know, my bike is always breaking down. And again, my bike broke down again today. So I think that's in honor of Johnny. So I'm actually riding bitch today. So yay. But I wanted to say thank you for the support here today. Thank you for the support of Nora. Nora has been the most incredible woman this past year and a half. After his accident, she was there every single day in the hospital. When he was discharged from the hospital, she actually got a job as a paid CNA to stay home and help take care of Johnny, because it was during the pandemic when there were no CNAs available. So she actually got certified and ended up staying at home and being able to get paid to help take care of him the entire year while Johnny was out. So Nora, we love you, and today is for you as much as it is for Johnny. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Roy. So the only thing I really want to bring up is the Saturday that we helped Johnny move. So that morning, I'm getting ready, and my wife tells me, "Where are you going?" "Well, I'm going to go work on one of the bikes." "Didn't you promise Johnny you were going to help him move?" It took 3 seconds to change my mind, going, "Yep, I did." Ended up down at Johnny's, and I'm glad I went. Right, meeting all the other people that came there. It was kind of stressful, people moving stuff around, we didn't know what to move. But for those guys that were there was a car, the neighbor, that Johnny was adamantly pissed at her because she had parked in the way. And I told Johnny, I go, "Listen, don't worry about her. After today, you'll never see her again. Your life will be a lot better. Let's just get you out of this place." And for those that were there helping, it was great. Everything went in a container. I went home. He messaged me about 5 o'clock. "Roy, we're going to be down in Waikiki. Come and join us." But I have, at our age, 8:30 is 12 midnight for us. I get up at 5 in the morning and I'm confused at the texts. Half of them were, "Be safe, Johnny." The other half was, "Rest in peace." I'm thinking, what the fuck happened? Not wanting to call anybody that early in the morning. I kept searching, only to come to the conclusion that, shit, he must have passed away. I mean, it's like, how can this happen? He finally is on him and Nora, they're on their way to happiness. And it's not going to happen. So, we all got to take the time to, for brothers and sisters and your family that you love, to take the time to say that you do love them and you miss them if anything happens, because you never know what's going to happen. And that's what happened with Johnny. That's why a lot of us here are shocked. Wake up to that. How can we go from we're going to party tonight to shit, the party's a funeral? But remember Johnny for everything he's done good, and he has for everybody. So anybody's ever met him and been with him, thank you.
Probably can go back in history a little bit and have a little bit of fun with I know as Budman, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here that remember the Budman. I never knew his name was John until he opened his motorcycle shop. That's when his life changed, and got off the Bud and the Bud, and became a different person. Did I like him any better after the change? No, he's still Bud. But the man had a heart like gold. And I'm very happy to be a friend of his for over 35 years. Did a lot of riding together and had a lot of fun. And that was Budman. That was party time every day. But he made a change in his life, and I think it was for the better. And we can bless him, please. Thank you.
My name is George Morantz. Not that that means a lot. Let's see if I can find my glasses. I found my knife. So I had so much to say, but I know the time is short. I think that's the way it is in life, is that we just never have enough time to say what we really mean. I'll probably say some off-color remarks. Ask Keith to do it all the time. He's hoping that I go before him because he'd hate to have me as his eulogy. What I made was some notes here last night, just thinking about what we're involved with here. So all of us have two lives. The second one starts when we realize we only have one. Although Johnny and I had crossed paths many times in the past, we really never formally met until about 2 years ago through a mutual friend. I gave him some Harley-Davidson tanks and fenders, and at that point he invited me to a Friday night ride and cigar outside of the cheese factory. I never took him up on the offer, but remained in touch with him. When I noticed his shop was closed on March of 2020, I assumed he had gone to the Philippines with his fiancée Nora on vacation. A few weeks had gone by, and though I still hadn't seen the doors open, I stopped by Cycle City, and I found out through thumbs at Cycle City that he had been in an accident on March 1st. And due to the pandemic lockdown, we were his last visitors at the Rehab Center of the Pacific. When he was able to return home, I made a point. I'm sorry, folks. I made a point of staying in touch with Johnny and helping him with transportation. I was also one of his first customers during his recovery. Although he was physically unable to work, on May 2nd, 2021, with Johnny's guidance, Keith Billingsley serviced my 2016 Fat Boy Low. Then it all changed. I started getting calls from Johnny. Hey George, what are you doing tomorrow? Now, this meant I need your help, or I need a ride, or can you spot me going down the stairs so I don't fall? You know, I am glad he never asked me to help him go to the bathroom. Tough luck, bro. No way gonna happen. So I really have to thank Johnny for the opportunity to meet so many good people through him. And I want to thank those friends for going out of their way to help him. Particularly Keith, who helped Johnny almost every day, and Nora for being there 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. On March 1st, 2021, on the anniversary of his accident, we rode together to the location of the accident. Pablo Fran Palama blessed Johnny and the small group gathering that the city of Honolulu allowed for the occasion. We're under a pandemic, only so many people. This was the one and only time I rode with Johnny. It was an honor and privilege to be there. On March 27, 2021, several of us helped Johnny and Nora pack up their belongings for the move to their new home on Big Island. All for the day. About 5 p.m., Hippolito and I left the Roadhog. As we were leaving, Hippo said, "Goodbye, Johnny. I don't think I'm going to see you again. I love you, brother." Johnny smiled and waved to us. Hippo was referring to the likelihood of traveling to the Big Island. Ironically, he was right. The following morning, before returning to the Roadhog, I discovered a 2 a.m. message from Keith on my phone. 2 words: Johnny passed. In the short time I knew him, we talked a lot of story. I'm proud to have known him. I think Johnny's life parallels this quote of Hunter S. Thompson. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside, in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, "Wow! What a ride!"
What's going on, gang? I'm Keith, and I'll start this conversation off by me and Johnny knew each other from recovery. You know, it was I knew him before he got sober. I knew of him before he got sober, but we didn't. Our sobriety is what bonded us really, and you know, we rode in sobriety. All the riding we did was in sobriety. So when I first talked to Johnny, I don't know if you guys knew this, or some of you older riders might remember this, but he had a little chrome noose that he had on his vest. And you know, I was talking to him, I couldn't keep my eyes off that noose. And he asked me, "So what's up, man?" And I said, "What's up with the noose?" I said, excuse my language, I said, "I can't really fuck with you with that noose." And he said, "Don't worry about the noose. That's for people that come in my shop and act up." And I said, "All right, I can deal with that." So, you know, every time he caught me looking at that noose, you know, a couple hundred times before he finally done something with it. But what he done with it, he took it off, and made sure I was watching. He took the noose off, and he put it on the top shelf of his glass case. And he told me it's not out of sight, and it's not out of mind. I said, all right, good enough. Well, we rode together, you know, and right up until his accident, and when I went in there, I really would take my bike to the shop for everything, and he started telling me, "Just fix it, man, just fix it." And you know, I started doing that. I just started fixing it, and by the time he had his accident, and he had been in the hospital for six weeks or better, and the guys was calling about their bikes in the shop, and I felt bad for them. And I kept telling them, you know what? The last time my bike was in the shop this long, I went and bought another bike. And I told him, what are we gonna do about these guys' bikes in the shop? And he said, just fix it, man. And I was like, what? He said, just fucking fix it. And he couldn't even talk, you know, he couldn't talk or see, and one eye closed, he's like, just fucking fix it, man. So I went downstairs and I fucking, you know, I done my little deal. I called everybody I knew. I got Alan on FaceTime. I had Johnny running up and down the stairs. I had Kaleo out in Waimanalo on speed dial. And the first job was a stator. And this was the deepest I ever went into a motor. But he just kept telling me, just do it, man. And Alan was saying the same shit. Just, you'll feel it. He kept saying, you'll feel it. And I was like, these guys ain't got no idea what the fuck I'm doing here. And this is somebody's bike. You know, this is a customer that ain't never gonna come back to this shop again. But lo and behold, you know, I got the stator changed. Once I changed the stator, it was it. That was as deep as I needed to go. Everything else was fair game. So my hats off to him. That was my partner, man. And you guys know it. That was my good friend. We rode together, and that's another motto of his. We ride. It's like, Johnny, it's fucking storming. He said, we riding. And goddamn it, we rode. That's what we did. We rode. So thank you all for coming out here today and sharing this day with us.
Right on, dude.
Hi, my name is Peter, and John was my friend. And when I moved on island back in 2012, I met him through the program in recovery, and I saw his bike. We talked story. Our bikes were kind of similar. We started riding and started hanging out with the hogs, and you know, I see a lot of his friends here. And you know, whenever I went on island, I'd go over by his shop, and he'd say, "Hey, Peter," you know, just the way it was, warm greeting, and you know, we talk story, we ride, and you know, this weekend I was supposed to be at a very important conference in Florida. I called the director up and I said, sorry, I gotta go ride with my friends. And I'm gonna miss John. He was my friend. And I was so shocked, and I get all choked up about it. But you know, they say a measure of a man is how many people are gonna miss him when he's gone. And I'm glad you guys are gonna miss him too. So that's all I got. Thanks.
I'm Alan, and I want to introduce you to someone that took care of Johnny for a long, long time. Cousin Dave. This is Cousin Dave that you folks all know about. Come on, Dave.
Yeah. Back about 25 years ago, I picked up a phone. It was 17 degrees in Alabama. And this is where Johnny's from. Me and him grew up together in Alabama. We used to raise hell in Alabama. We used to tear up cars in Alabama, drink beer in Alabama. But when he left, about 15 years before I got here, it was a cold morning. I woke up. I forgot to buy propane for the tank that heated the house in the yard. And everything was frozen in the house. All the pipes were frozen. Oh, the toilet, we couldn't take a piss. We couldn't do anything. So I got mad and went to the country store, bought a newspaper, a cup of coffee, 2 packs of cigarettes. I'm sitting there reading the newspaper. I see a weather map of Hawaii. It says Honolulu, 85 degrees. So I pick up my flip phone and I call directory assistance and I say, Johnny Franklin, Honolulu. On the 4th ring, Johnny Franklin answers the phone. I said, Johnny, what you doing? He said, I'm sitting on my lanai drinking a beer. I go, what the fuck is a lanai? He said, well, why don't you fly over and I'll explain it to you. So I said, well, that sounds like a great idea. So I hung up the phone. I made 2 phone calls. One of them was to a friend of mine. I said, hey, you like my car? I'll sell it to you half price today if you give me a ride to the airport. So he bought the car. He took me to the airport. I took all the cash I had and bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii. I had $70 left after I purchased the ticket. I arrived at the airport after about an 8-hour flight. He picks me up in an old beat-up Toyota truck. beige one. I don't know if you guys remember that, which I totaled that truck later on in life. But he picked me up, and he had a huge joint, about as big as your finger, and he smoked that with me to his house, and he took me up in his house, and he sat me on his couch, and he goes, "Cousin Dave," he said, "let me explain something to you." He said, "This is Hawaii." He said, "Whatever you learned in Alabama, you forget right now." He said, "If your word is no good here, you're no good. If you show no respect, you get no respect." He said, "If you don't like what the fuck I got to say, I'll take you back to the airport right now." And I go, "Okay, man." So he let me sleep on his floor for about 3.5 weeks, and he comes in one morning, he kicks me in the head, and he says, "Hey, either go get a job or go back to Alabama." And that's how it all started. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have what I got today. I love you, Johnny.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alan, and I want to say this: I'm an alcoholic. Okay. One day I was at Company Line Park at one of our meetings, and this time I met Johnny. This big biker dude standing in the back outside in the park, and he's like this, all tattooed up with his tank top on and his cut, and I, you know, because we're bikers, right? I walk up to him and say, "Who you ride for, buddy?" And he showed me his patch. That time I think he was riding for Worldwide. So automatically we bonded, because I told him who I rode for, and then we bonded automatically from that day. You know, he's been a very close friend of mine. Walked with him through MMI when he drove all the way across the states. So we went to school, gave me a lot of phone calls, and we have friends in Florida, so we hooked them up. Anyways, I got up here to say that I've had the honor of being his sponsor for the past 14 years, you know, of his life. You know, whenever he had problems, he'd call me up and I talked to him. Doesn't mean he's gonna listen, but I talked to him, right? So ending with this, you know, because April was our birthday month, someone came up to me and said, "Johnny wanted you to have this late for your birthday because I just celebrated a milestone in my recovery." And it would have been his recovery also. And this is from Johnny. So buddy, thank you very much. And I know what he's doing right now. He's paving the way for us when we get there. So I want to tell you folks one last thing, okay? There's been some pilikia going on with his family right now. So we did this thing right here because we want to take care of his immediate family, which is Nara. So if you find it in your hearts, you know what I mean, dig deep in the pocket and try to see if we can help her. I didn't mean to say that, but I gotta say that. You know what I mean? Because this is all about Johnny and the person that took care of him the most is Nara right here. So please, dig deep, please. Hello, everybody.
Alright, my name is Yoda, and I just want to know I came here about 3 years ago. I actually met Johnny a different way than you guys did. I was at Safeway off of Pauley Highway. I was actually grabbing beer from my lady and grabbing some food, and Johnny looked at me and said, "I know you ain't going to be drinking that, right?" I said, "No, sir, I like alcohol better. I prefer hard liquor." So Johnny looked at me and asked me, "Are you a tattoo person, you a biker?" I said, "Well, I'm a little bit of both." And the one thing that he told me that stayed in my head is he said, no matter what I could say, I'm always going to put fear in him. I never understood that, but then he laughed it off. He told me that if I ever needed help with a bike, or if I needed any advice, or just to learn about the biker lifestyle here, to come see him at his shop. So one day I had a Honda Shadow, yep. And he saw me riding towards Chinaman Hat. Now, I've been here for 3 years and I haven't really explored the island, so Chinaman Hat is one of my favorite places to go to. As I was on my way back, he yelled at me from the side of the road and said, "Where's the man's bike?" I had to pull over, knew it was him. And I said, "Hey, $1 at a time, I'll get my man's bike." He looked at me and said, "First things first, you gotta get ape hangers, man. You gotta match your style, your posture." I said, "That's true." I sat with an hour with him at his shop, and all he could talk about is his love for the island, his love for building bikes, and his love for Nora. He was a wonderful man in my eyes. I didn't know him as well as you guys did, but for what I did know about him, all I could think about is I wish I could be like him. The love that he had for everybody was amazing. Every time I went to events, all he cared about was everybody else. You guys have wonderful stories, and I just want to let you know that he's just smiling at us, smoking a cigar, and making jokes like he usually does. I remember when I got my motorcycle accident in 2019, and I dented my skull. Random message I got from Johnny. He said, "Are you still alive and moving?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Are you going to still ride?" I said, "Always." He said, "Come see me when you get another bike." I did. I ended up getting my Harley Davidson Fat Boy, took another trip out there to see him. First thing he said is, "Now you got a man's bike." I'm going to love you for that, Johnny. Thank you for being you.
All right.
And thank you all for your wonderful stories.
Hi everybody, I am Janet, and I was a dear friend. Johnny was a dear friend of mine. I said that wrong. I just wanted to share that I got the honor of creating Santa Claus at Christmas time. I got to do that beard. I got to share that special energy that Johnny had in December, and we would talk about it for months up until, and it's just, he was a light in my life, a light that I'll never get back, but I'll always look up to. And I just want to thank you all for being here, sharing the love and the respect and the memories that we all have of our precious friend, Johnny Franklin. Thank you, Nora, for taking care of me.
Hi, I'm Bradley. Johnny gave me this. I lived with him in his house on Ocean View for a couple years. I helped build his red truck. I helped him get his shop set up and helped him work on bikes. And got the scars to prove that I cleaned some of your bikes. I cleaned my blood off of them too. You can never forget Johnny. He had 12 coconuts and they'd be reading how it works, and Johnny would say, "What's the point?" And everybody would laugh, and we know the point, Johnny. We all love you. We always will. Thank you all.
Thanks everyone for coming, but we're not done yet. So if you guys want to stand by your bikes, we got Francine that will come around and bless you and the bike.
Before we all take off and everybody looks good holding each other, I know we're supposed to do the 6-foot distance, social distancing and all that. Before we hit the road, I want you guys to hug each other before we leave this place. One more time. Man to man, woman to woman, it doesn't matter. Before we leave this place, you folks hug each other. Because it has 2 letters when you get out there. AA. Your attitude and your approach to that road will tell you whether or not you get back home safely to your family. Not about speeding. Not about, oh, I get the best bike. I've been on those bikes. Some of you might have known. I've ridden with some of you on the Big Island. Some of them down here in Honolulu. I've been with the Daughters of Hawaii since '79. And I've been the road captain. And many of you I haven't seen in a while. And I thank you so much for being here. All of you who took the time to come down here, because it's not just about the ride, but who we're riding for, and to celebrate his life. That's what we're here for. So, smoke kind of gonna close up with Puli. Folks hug each other before you folks leave. And mahalo for all the stories that came forward. But imagine the stories that's gonna be out there that we haven't heard yet. Okay? Everybody got a story. They all have a once upon a time story. And that's what it's all about. Keeping his spirit alive. Johnny's spirit is still with us. He's looking down going, oh wow, check this out. You know? And he's saying, well, how come you never talk about me? How come you never talk about me? But on the ride, and when we make the pit stops, that's where it's at. Okay. So there's a saying in the Bible, and it goes like this, in the book of Ecclesiastes. There's a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pick what has been planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to rebuild, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Nothing before its time. Everything in God's time. We remember the time that we were Johnny. We remember this time that we went motorcycle riding. We remember all of this. We can never go back in that time. But that time gives us memories for a lifetime. That time that we did what we did, we're talking about yesterday and we're just laughing our asses off, man. You know, because things happen. Never can recover that time. But that time gave us the memories for a lifetime. So let us pray, Pulikako. Ekamakualani, our Heavenly Father. We thank you so much for this gathering. We thank you for those who have come forward, Father, to share stories. We thank you for the leaders and the coordinators of this event and many hands that have helped along the way. We ask that you be the drivers and keepers of our bikes, Father, as we move forward and that we get home safely to our family. Send your host of angels down the road and open the way, Father, so that there's no obstacles in the way, there's no distractions. And wherever we stop, Lord, we ask that you bless each and every one as we touch them and as we lead forward. Heavenly Father, we thank you again that if we've gone contrary to thy ways, we ask that you forgive us. We ask, Father, that you forgive those that may have hurt us. If I have hurt anyone by my words, my actions, or my deeds, I ask that they forgive me. For love to flourish, forgiveness must begin. We can tell each other we love each other, bro, how's it going, you know, but when to forgive is the hardest. Once you forgive and love will flourish. Father God, we thank you with all this. I ask special blessings upon our bikers this morning as they get ready, Father, to move out and enjoy the scenery of Hawaii. Remember to open that path for them, Father, that there be no distractions and that they get home safely to their family as they left them this morning. And in all these things, I ask that we close the doors to our request to man, Satan, and the principalities of the air. And we ask this through your Son, Jesus Christ, who has taught us to pray. No kamea, no kea puni, ameka mana, ameka ho'onani ia amalo aku. Amen. Woo! Let's ride! Start your engine!
Hello everybody, thank you for joining our event today. Blessing Johnny Franklin to his new home. Thank you for joining us, you know what I mean? This means a lot to Johnny. He cried on us earlier, he rainbowed on us earlier, now he's smiling on us. Thank you.
Let me walk through paradise with you, Lord. Take my hand and lead me there. Oh, my earthly treasures, I would gladly give. Teach me how to love and how to share. Greed and lust and vanity were mine. Then I found your love divine. Now on my knees I pray I can find the way. Let me walk through paradise with you. Oh, my Lord, my Savior, guide my poor feet along that long road. Faith, hope, and love will find a way before Me ke kanaka o pio hano hano kaula na ika vai vai let me walk inside take my hand and lead me
Now that is very cool. I know. And you got the extra through
paradise with let me walk through paradise
Amen.